If you're trying to build a 10K a month Shopify store in 2026, almost every dropshipping video on YouTube right now is teaching you a version of this from 2022, and this is exactly why you're stuck. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact playbook our consultant team runs with our Supreme Ecom students, the same one our students Maurice used to hit 10K in 1 month, and Brandon, who used this to scale to 20K in 90 days. We'll learn how to find a product people are buying right now, the store build that's converting traffic into buyers, how they're reading data to scale, and the offer structure that's pushing them to 10K a month without raising their ad spend. Let's get into it. Step 1, proven demand. The reason 9 out of 10 beginners burn through their savings in 1 month is that they're trying to pick a product based on a feel and not a logical decision. That's why me and my consultant team run each product through this filter before moving forward with it. Most people don't fail because they picked a terrible product. Think of product research like building a court case. Every single one you find, it's another piece of proof. Demand, engagement, active advertisers, and profit margins all stack together until opportunity becomes obvious. The goal isn't to convince yourself a product will work, it's to give yourself enough evidence that it's worth testing. So open TikTok and search product category. If you see the same product getting 50K to 1 million plus views across at least 10 different creators in the last 24 to 72 hours, that's a great signal. Then check the comments. You want to see the buying intent. Where do I get this? I need this. Now you want to cross-reference to Meta ad library if there are any brands running paid ads for this product, and if they've been running for weeks, it's profitable then. You need to be able to sell it for at least 2.5 more than what it costs you. Don't put everything on one product, pick 3 to 5 that pass this filter and then test them in parallel. Step 2, creatives. Finding a product that people want is only half the battle. If your ads don't stop the scroll in their first 3 seconds, nothing you did before that actually matters. The market decides whether your product wins. Your creatives decide whether the market even pays attention. The job of the creative isn't to make the sale, it's to earn the next few seconds of attention so the rest of your funnel can get the chance to work. Reminder, the first 1 to 3 seconds of your ad are doing 80% of the work. If the hook doesn't punch immediately, you've already lost them. The second highest leverage thing is the product demo. Understand volume is non-negotiable. For every product you test, you should be producing 10 to 15 different creatives with 5 to different hook variations. So here's the structure that we use all the time. We have the hook, the problem, the demo of the product, the proof, the outcome, and the call to action. Understanding studio quality is dead. What is working right now is UGC style content that is phone shot and looks like a real person talking. This is what consistently is outperforming polished branded ads. Step 3, stores that convert belief. Your store has one job and it needs to do it right. Taking a cold visitor from being skeptical to putting in their card details. We found a specific layout that outperforms any other one, so pay attention. Your product page isn't there just to impress people, it's there to answer these type of questions. Every visitor arrives with uncertainty. They're wondering if the product works, if the brand is trustworthy, and of course if it's worth their money. The best stores remove doubt one section at a time until buying feels like the obvious next step. Above your fold, it has to have 4 important factors: a headline that tells them what the product does for them, a clean hero shot of the product, the price, and one clear to action button. The middle of the page is also the transformation. You want to go ahead and lead them with the problem they have, show the solution, and then list the top 3 benefits and provide them social proof. Moving into the bottom is your objections. You want to have full reviews, FAQs, guarantees, and a return policy like it shows here. You also want to go ahead and build your store mobile first, as over 80% of your traffic is on a phone. Step 4, offers increases the perceived value. The same product with the same setup can either do 3K or 15K, and all depends on the offer. The highest converting offers aren't always the cheapest. People don't buy based on price alone, they buy based on what they believe they are getting in return. That's why 2 stores can sell the exact same product they get and get completely different results. One is selling an item while the other is selling a complete solution for them. Stop selling one unit at one price. Build a 3-tier bundle. Tier 1 is the single unit. Tier 2, buy 2 with a small discount and label it as most popular. Tier 3, buy with the biggest discount and market as the best value. Tier 2 is what's gonna sell most because it only looks like a deal because Tier 1 exists next to it. Offer free shipping, so when they hit a threshold, it pushes AOV up. A 30-day money back guarantee handles risk for them. A small bonus item tips people over the edge as well, and do not compete on the discount but on the perceived value of your product. product. Now step 5, ads as a data system. Don't treat meta ads like it's a casino. It's a great diagnostic tool, but only if you know how to read it properly. The biggest mistake that beginners make is treating every campaign like a final. Your first campaign isn't supposed to prove you right, it's supposed to give you information. Every click, view, add to cart, and purchase is feedback from the market. The faster you learn how to read back the feedback, the faster you can actually improve. So the test and setup is simple. You want to go ahead and set it up to $50 a day, 10 to 15 creatives in one campaign, and then do broad targeting. Your main objective equals to gathering data. Now, the 4 important metrics. CTR, known as click-through rate, tells you if the creative is working. You want this at least 2 to 3% minimum. CPC, your cost per click. This tells you if the platform thinks your ad is relevant. We want this anywhere from 50 cents to $1.20. Add to cart rate tells you if your store is doing its job. And then, of course, CPA, cost per acquisition, is going to go ahead and tell you whether the whole funnel is profitable. Now, make sure you set a kill rule before you launch and stick to it. If you spent $100 to $150 on a product and you have 0 purchases, go ahead and move on. And the number one thing is to keep in mind, the first 2 to 3 days, don't touch anything within your campaign. Let it run and let it build the data you need to go ahead and analyze it. Step 6, diagnosing the bottleneck. Don't mess with anything until the data tells you what to do. Fixing the wrong thing will waste you more money than running bad ads. Most people waste money because they solve the wrong problem. When performance drop, they immediately start changing everything completely. They change new creatives, new product pages, new offers, but the businesses that scale are usually the ones that slow down. You want to identify the bottleneck and fix the specific issue before touching anything else. If your CTR is low, the problem is the creative. If you're getting clicks but no add to carts, the problem is the store. If they're adding to cart but not buying, the problem is the offer or checkout safety. So change one variable at a time, and if you swap your creative, your store, and your offer in the same week, you'll never know what change made those improvements. Step 7, fix one variable and then retest. We're gonna go ahead and walk through the most boring thing in the entire video, unfortunately, but this is what actually separates dropshippers who make 1K a month to 10K a month. This is where patience becomes a competitive advantage against everyone else. Most people never gather enough clean data because they change direction too quickly. Every adjustment should have a purpose. Otherwise, you're creating noise instead of learning what actually moved the needle for you. If the creatives are the problem, build new ones. Try a problem first hook, try a demo first hook, and then a testimonial hook. Whichever wins, double down on that style. If the store is a problem, start above the fold. Rewrite the headline, move the proof higher up, make the call to action button bigger and more obvious. If the offer is the problem, restructure the bundles, adjust the anchor price, change whatever tier you're pushing, add or remove the bonus, and then test new guarantees. And then after every single change, run the ads again and with the same budget and the same audience. This is what running a business looks like. Step 8, scaling with control. The fastest way to kill a winning campaign in 2026 is scaling too aggressively. Scaling is not about just spending more money. It's about increasing your volume while protecting what's already working. The whole goal is to keep efficiency as stable as possible while expanding your reach. The moment growth starts breaking your profitability, you've moved too fast. Don't even think about scaling until you've got 3 to 5 purchases a day with stable cost per acquisition over 2 to 3 consecutive days. When you do scale, increase your daily budget by 20 to 30% max once per day. Scale within the first campaign first. Don't immediately duplicate or create new ad sets. Once you're stable at higher spend, start layering into new audiences. Lookalikes off your purchasers, your interest stacks, your retargeting. Walk each group through its own testing phase. Step 9, optimize for profit. What a lot of my students don't realize is that they can easily hit 10K a month and still be broke. But revenue doesn't mean anything if you're keeping 5% of it. Revenue gets attention and profit builds businesses. A lot of store owners spend months trying to find a new winning product when the easiest money is usually sitting inside the customers they already paid to acquire. Small improvements in profitability compound much faster than constantly chasing more sales. The fastest way to add profit without spending more on ads is increasing your AOV, your average order value. Bundles do most of the heavy lifting, but post-purchase upsells are the cheat code. A one-click add this for $9.99 right after they can buy can lift AOV by 20 to 40%. Utilizing email and SMS flows are also basically free money. Abandoned cart flow can recover 10 to 15% of sales. A welcome sequence turns new subscribers into buyers, and then post-purchase flows drive repeated orders. Retargeting warm traffic converts at a fraction of the cost of cold ads. Once you're moving real volume, go back to your supplier and negotiate. Fight with your dear life for a better margin. Literally, this is the whole point of optimizing profit. It is to give you more budget and then to deploy more back into your ads. Step 10, think like an operator. The biggest shift you'll experience on your way to 10K per month happens in your head. At some point, every successful e-commerce owner stops asking, how do I make more money? And starts asking, what is preventing this business from growing? And that's the shift from being a beginner to becoming an operator. Operators understand that growth is rarely about doing more. It's usually about identifying the constraint that's slowing everything else down and removing it. Don't even think about chasing outcomes. That's what beginners do. If you really want to be a business owner, you have to chase bottlenecks. Every problem in your business is a specific broken link in the chain. Your job is to see which link is broken and fix it. So stop looking for hacks online and build-in systems. The winning product list or secret ad framework you're looking for on YouTube just simply doesn't exist. The business isn't just about running the store. It's only one piece of a huge machine that includes things like the product, the research, creative process, your ad testing, your data analysis, and customer retention. Don't cap yourself at only optimizing the store. So the difference between dropshipping being a hobby and a business is how you treat it. So that's the roadmap to 10K a month in a Shopify store in 2026. Hold from what our consulting team is doing here inside active student accounts every single day. But the store is only one piece of the system. The reason students like Maurice hit their first 10K in their first month and Brandon who skipped past it is everything that happens around it, meaning the creative angles that stop scrolls in 2026. The testing framework our consultant teams uses to launch products without losing all of their budget, and the systems they put in place so the store starts working so the income stays consistent. We break all of that down inside our free training. The link is in the description. I'll see you on the next one, and let's get to work.